Hello, and thank you for watching my April 2nd EV update video. Today I'm going to talk about the Vancouver International Auto Show, which just ended. I'm going to talk about the North America edition of the Kona EV, which I did see in person, and the Toyota Prius Prime. So first off, I'd like to thank all my new subscribers. I'm actually up to 798, so too shy of 800. That's wild. I've had 46 more subscribers since my last update video, and they just seem to be coming in regularly, so that's excellent to see. I can't thank everybody, as I don't actually get the full names of everybody who subscribes, but other people who did, I'd like to thank Emily Liu, Rick Roloff, DB, Valchem, the Ken B425, Anthony Harvey, Nicholas Hills, Jerry Paul, Tomic N, Wes Bard, Jacob Steeden Noakes, Glenn Peterson, Colin Benyon, Elwin Peters, and Chicago Kempo. Thanks for subscribing. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think of the content I'm creating. So let's start off by talking about the Vancouver International Auto Show. I was actually there on Saturday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Donating my time, or volunteering, let's say, for the eMotive group. eMotive is this organization that's only found in British Columbia. It's part of the provincial government, and it's there to find owners of electric vehicles and just kind of spread the word of how fun it is to drive an EV and all the benefits of that. So I went over, I live in Victoria, got on a ferry, drove over. Actually, I took my Chevrolet Volt, and I had some pretty good numbers on that. I'm just going to post you'll see a little screenshot up now of it. That's my car's a 2011 Chevy Volt, and you'll see that out of the mileage driven, I think it was somewhere around 196 kilometers or so. I only used about 2.7 liters of fuel, so that was a pretty good trip. I would say success. But anyways, I was at this booth, and hundreds of people walking by at the Vancouver International Auto Show, and we had this big board that had all of the electrified vehicles that are available to people within the province of British Columbia. And there's a lot of vehicles on there, but a majority of them are plug-in hybrids. But what I was surprised was the question I had all the time was, what does it mean when it says total range? Because obviously, like with a plug-in hybrid, you have gas range and you have electric range. We did have the ranges posted for each of the cars. And people just didn't know, like a lot of them didn't know that a plug-in hybrid was such a thing. So I talked about this to everybody there almost, so I just wanted to bring it on this channel, and I talked about the three different electrified vehicle types. The first one is BEV, battery electric vehicle. This is your simplest and most ideal solution if it works for you. This would be where a car is entirely powered by batteries. So you just have an electric motor, you have a big battery pack. Think of like any of the Teslas, the Nissan Leaf, the Chevrolet Bolt, the Hyundai Ioniq EV. All those are battery electric vehicles. The next classification is one which isn't entirely recognized by everybody, but it's called EREV, Extended Range Electric Vehicle. There's only two vehicles that fall into this category. This would be the BMW i3 with a range extender, and the Chevrolet Volt. What makes these a little bit different is that as long as there's energy in the battery pack, you can drive full electric under any driving conditions. So, well, I guess with the exception of extreme colds where the car has to turn on a gas motor to keep everything warm. But you could accelerate as hard as you want and go up a big hill. As long as there's energy in the batteries, the car drives like an electric vehicle. And then once it runs out of energy, the car turns on a gasoline motor to either make electricity to help move the wheels or to actually synchronize up with the wheels to move the car along. And then finally, you have PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And once again, this is what we're seeing, I think, the most of on the market. A lot of manufacturers have announced that they're going to be changing their cars over to having an electrified option, and this is where they're going to be. So a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle is very similar to an extended range, but the electric motor isn't quite as big to power the car under all conditions. So if you have to accelerate hard, chances are the gasoline motor is going to turn on, synchronize up to one of the wheels, and propel the car. Now, every manufacturer has different thresholds for this. Some cars are very good at it. Like I was quite surprised with the Outlander plug-in hybrid, how infrequently it turned the gasoline motor on. Like I was able to actually use the entire battery pack and going like 90 kilometers an hour without it using the gasoline motor. So that was very impressive to me. Whereas I do know that other plug-in hybrids, some really basic ones, you give it a little bit of acceleration and the gasoline motor will come on to assist. It's just the electric motor is too small. So that is the designation. Please, if you have any questions about that, let me know. Now also, we were signing up people. We had 20 electric vehicles for people to test drive. And kind of what blew my mind was there were a couple in there that no one wanted to drive, and the one that people really didn't want to drive was the Chrysler Pacifica hybrid minivan. Now, I think Chrysler kind of screwed up on this because they just call it a hybrid. They don't call it a plug-in hybrid, but it is a plug-in hybrid, and you can go, I think, about 50 kilometers of range all electric on it. But my job was to try to get people into all of the vehicles, and as the other cars were filling up, it was like, okay, hey, do you want to drive the Pacifica? And everyone's like, no, hell no, I'm not going to drive that. And I understand it's an auto show, and a lot of people didn't go there to look at a minivan, but this is a really cool thing. It's the first of its kind on the market, and I wish people would give it the opportunity anyways. So that was a bit disappointing. But also, there are two other cars that a lot of people didn't want to drive, and that was the Honda Clarity and the Chevrolet Volt. There's a lot of misconceptions. With the Clarity, I think people just didn't really know what it was or that it existed. And the Volt, it's the common misconception that it's not an electric vehicle. Like, a lot of them just think it's a standard hybrid. So I was busy kind of just answering that question. Like, no, it's not a hybrid. It's actually an electric vehicle. Until the battery runs out, you should really test drive it. So I was able to push a lot of people into that, and I was able to push a lot of people into the Clarity, but I couldn't push people into the Pacifica. It just wasn't happening, so that's unfortunate. Now, also at this show, the 2019 Kona electric vehicle North America edition was actually unveiled. At the same time, it was also unveiled in an auto show in New York. So this was kind of a special event. I wasn't there for the actual unveiling, but I was there the following days to go have a look at it. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me in the car at all, but I was able to get some really nice shots of it. So they did release some details. They haven't really released pricing, but it is going to have a 400 kilometer range thanks to a 64 kilowatt hour battery. So that's an absolutely massive battery pack. And it has a huge 150 kilowatt electric motor. So that's the same motor that's found in the Chevrolet Bolt, which, as you recall, I found was super fun, very nutty drive. If you haven't, please look at the video of my driving reaction. I'll link it in the comments. But and looking through the windows of the vehicle into the interior, it looks like it has very similar controls or near identical controls to the Ioniq EV, which I really liked. I liked driving that car. I liked the setup. It was very intuitive, made sense. And I think, just as an impression, I really liked the exterior of the vehicle. I was quite surprised. In person, it was much nicer than I just kind of looked at it online. And it's a good size, and given the specs that they've announced, I could really see owning one of these vehicles actually to replace both my Leaf and my Volt when it comes out, possibly. We'll have to see how much it costs, but I think this is a great move for the industry to see more vehicles like this that just aren't the simple hatchback that we've been flooded with so far. And that's basically the Vancouver International Auto Show. I didn't get a lot of time to walk around. I did quickly walk through some of the booths. Mitsubishi had a couple Outlanders. Volvo had the XC60 on display, which was there was a huge lineup for people to look at that one, which is kind of surprising but impressive. And there was like the Smart EV42, and there was e-Golf, all the ones that you would expect. Now, April 7th, I am actually going to be. I've negotiated with the local Toyota dealership to borrow a Prius Prime for a very good chunk of a day. And if you don't know what the Prius Prime is, it's a plug-in hybrid, but it's one that's supposed to be very similar to how the Chevrolet Volt works. A lot of people have said it's very close to an extended range EV. And it has interesting specs. It has about the same listed driving range as what my 2011 Chevrolet Volt has. So what I'm going to do several videos from this. I'm going to do a driving reaction, obviously. I'm also going to do a versus. I'm going to drive the Prius Prime until the battery runs out, and then drive it back, and then I'm going to drive my Chevrolet Volt, similar to my first gen versus second gen Volt video. And I want to see what the economy difference is like. I'm very curious. I have to think that the Prime is going to be better than my Volt because it's much newer. But if you're watching right now and you're thinking, well, like, why would I buy a Prius Prime if it's only comparable to a 2011 Chevrolet Volt? The answer is that the Prius Prime is 10,000 Canadian less than the new Volt. So, and like my 2011 Volt works really well for my lifestyle, so the Prime I think might be, if you want a new car and you don't want a GM, which a lot of people don't seem to want, I think might be a really good solution. So I'm excited to do that. I'm also going to do an interior 360 degree video, and I'm going to continue my rapid review where I'll basically lay down what I think of it. So look for those videos to come in the next couple weeks while I edit them. Now, finally, viewer questions and comments. I just want to, I'm only highlight one, but this is from somebody named Lionel L. And they're asking about the Outlander. What's the overall range of the vehicle, considering that the battery can be charged using the plug or the engine? And approximately how long would it take before the gas tank refill? I'm considering buying the car, but as you can tell, those are my holdups. Well, I did respond, but I didn't actually have any real hard evidence, but I was able to get answers at the Vancouver International Auto Show. So essentially, the total listed range with the full charge is 498 kilometers, and that has, the vehicle is equipped with a 45-liter fuel tank. So, seeing as the car advertised only about 35 kilometers, you may recall I was able to get 42. That means that you're going to be getting about 460, 470 kilometers out of the 45-liter fuel tank, which by no means is horrible. That's still pretty good considering that it is a full-size SUV. It's not very aerodynamic. It's a big vehicle, but it's definitely more thirsty than like a vehicle like my Chevrolet Volt. And of course, that's the payoff, or that's the consequence of something that big. But you know, if your regular commute is within that almost all electric range, then it would be a fantastic vehicle. So thanks for asking that question. Hope that answer satisfies it. And that's all I have. I have no questions, but just please, if you know people who aren't subscribed and they're interested in this channel, please get them subscribed. I really want to hit 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments or any other topics you want me to cover. Thanks for watching. Bye.